Hayom 25 ימים בעומר שהם 3 שבועות ו4 ימים. Correct? תשפ"ג. I mentioned that for two reasons. First of all, we know that the minhag in Eretz Yisrael was to mention the day of the Omer in the Beit Knesset during the day, in the morning as well, not just in the evening. It's a good idea for a number of reasons. First of all, why not mention it and to keep it alive in people's memory? The whole purpose of Sefirat HaOmer, according to most Rishonim, not according to the Rambam, true, but according to most Rishonim, the reason for the Mitzvah of Sefirat HaOmer, which is not min HaTorah, again, according to most Rishonim and not according to the Rambam, is Zechel HaMikdash. It's an act of it's a way of reminding ourselves of the lack of a mikdash, because what would normally happen on the second day of Pesach, Tet Zayin B'Nisan, we would have the Omer, right? Minhat HaOmer would be brought in the mikdash, and at that point the Hadash, the Tevuah Hadasha, the new crop of grain of that year, which grew during the previous winter, would become mutar. Until that point, it's asur. It may not be eaten. That's called the hadash, and from that day, the second day of Pesach, Tet Zayin Ben Nisan, we count 49 days, and the 50th day, of course, is Shavuot, as is written for us in the Torah. So it's an important thing to remember, to be aware of all these things that are missing in our lives: the Omer, the Mikdash, and the Mitzvah of counting the days from Pesach till Shavuot, according to most Rishonim again. Is the responsibility of the Beth Din, of the Sanhedrin, and the Kohanim and the Mikdash would also count the days, etc. So everything to do with Sefirat HaOmer has to do with the Mikdash, things connected to the Mikdash, and that's why it states in the Surya, in Masechet Menachot, in the Talmud Bavli, it mentions, these words are mentioned there, that it's Zechel HaMikdash. Rambam, interestingly, does not seem to be of this opinion, and it's actually rather difficult to understand Rambam's opinion on this point. We won't go into that right now. Rambam holds that it is a mitzvah min HaTorah for every individual Jew, whether there's a mikdash or not, to count Sefirat HaOmer. That's Rambam's position, and it's on that basis that we have the little prayer that appears in many sidurim before Sefirat HaOmer, Heni Muchan U'Muzuman L'Kiyam Mitzvah Taseh Sefirat HaOmer. Well, that's true according to the Rambam. It's not true according to all the other Rishonim. Okay, and this is often sung by children, or in Bnei Akiva people sing it, right? Hineni Muchan U'Muzuman, etc. And they L'Kiyam Mitzvah Taseh. It's only a Mitzvah Taseh according to the Rambam. Why? Not so clear. It's more obvious why the other opinion seems more likely, and that's what we find in the Mefurash and the Talmud in Masechet Menachot, that is Zechel HaMikdash. So that's one reason to mention the fact that today is the 25th day of the Omer. Yes?
Just to clarify, so I don't leave this room
sure.
With a misunderstanding, is the Rav saying that the counting of the Omer is not a mitzvah filu even when there is a temple, or just when there isn't one?
Rambam states that it is a mitzvah ta'aseh min HaTorah for every Jew to count Sefirat HaOmer in all times, in all places. Whether there is a mikdash or there is not a mikdash makes no difference. It's a mitzvah on the individual Jew to count Sefirat HaOmer every year, in all times, in all places. Galuth, Geula, mikdash, en mikdash, yesh mikdash, it's always a mitzvah. According to most Rishonim, the mitzvah of counting Sefirat HaOmer is really concentrated on the Mikdash. It's not really a Mitzvah which devolves on the individual. It has to do with Klal Yisrael, which we as a Klal, as a nation, we bring Minhat HaOmer on the second day of Pesach, Tel Zayin Ben Nisan, and then we count 49 days, and the 50th day is Shavuot, when we have another special Korban, or a special Mincha, Shtei Alechem, on Shavuot. And the Chovah to count or the responsibility for counting those days and being aware of the schedule is the Bet Din. It's a centralized mitzvah of all of our mitzvahs. It's not an individual mitzvah.
Thank you, Rabbi Bar-Hayim. We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. We would also like to suggest the following opportunity to our viewers. If you identify with Rabbi Bar-Hayim's message and would like to sponsor or dedicate a video interview with the rabbi in honor or memory of a loved one, if you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.